All right, aloha, welcome. So, holy cow, how many of you, what was your eclipse experience like this last Sunday or Monday, depending on where you are? For me personally, as an astrologer who was getting prepared for it and learning about it and researching about it the week prior, I figured that I'd be okay and I would just get through it and it would be fine. But literally an hour before it happened, I went through such a deep emotional triggering. And when it was happening, I was literally like, it was very intense for me. So, some of you, I think, had a really mellow, beautiful time. It was exciting to watch the sky change, the moon to change colors, this big red orb. I know some of you had more challenging times. And I'm thinking that after the eclipse, right, where it's done, well, there's a little more to it than that. And so I wanted to take the time to explain it to you all. And also, really curious to hear any feedback about what your eclipse experience was like and how you felt the last 2 days. So, we had Monday, Tuesday, and today's Wednesday. Um, I felt like yesterday evening, I finally felt like clear. The air felt clear. I felt sort of like an expansion, sort of like I had been taken into this deep ceremonial journey. And you can see the background here I chose has the waterfall because I thought this last eclipse was a little bit like a ceremony. And now we're entering the phase where we're being allowed to get washed off, rinsed off, showered off. And so please feel free to share with me, if you're having any experiences post eclipse, any realizations, any awarenesses, any transformations. I've actually worked with several clients on Monday who are really going through it. So I think Monday was maybe the most challenging day post eclipse, at least intensity wise. And she had just quit a job right before the eclipse, like the day before. And I know that a lot of people are going through big transformations and changes. So I'm super curious as an astrologer to hear what your story is, where you're at, what you've been going through. And then I wanted to give you more information about where are we at now and what can we look forwards to, as well as just a little brief explanation about what eclipses are and why they're so powerful. So the first thing to know about eclipses is that there are 4 per year, and this is a little bit of a recap. 4 per year. They are aligned to the cycles of the moon. So the solar eclipse correlates to the new moon, and the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, this finger's better. Solar eclipse is the new moon, happens at the new moon time. The lunar eclipse happens at the full moon time. They happen twice a year. I'm sorry, 4 times a year in increments of 2. So the end of April, maybe May, we begin having the first solar eclipse, new moon, then the full moon, lunar eclipse. 6 months later, we're going to have another set, solar eclipse, new moon, lunar eclipse, full moon. And so the way that eclipses are talked about in astrology is that they are like bookends, and they're 6-month period activators. So not only will we be experiencing the activation of the eclipse on the eclipse, but those energies, whatever got activated, whatever awareness came to the surface, whatever ideas started percolating, or things that came up to let go, that is all going to be happening for the next 6 months. So hold on to your hats. We got 6 months to process this information and let it go. Because the lunar eclipse is always about letting it go. And the solar eclipse on the new moon is always about creating a new intention. So I invited my viewers last time to think about, where were you 6 months ago, because the eclipses always correlate back 6 months to the last set. So the last set was, I believe, in November. So the invitation was to invite you to think back to where were you 6 months ago? What was happening in your life 6 months from last Sunday, right? From the eclipse time. And just tune in and see, were there any awarenesses? Were there things that have come to light for me since then? Okay. So now we're going to start thinking about the next 6 months and how the awarenesses, thoughts, and intentions we've had are going to lead us forwards. So I created a presentation for y'all and very interesting information. So I am titling this presentation Post Lunar Eclipse Update, Heart Opening. So if any of y'all had a heart opening over the eclipse period, please raise your hand. Please leave a comment. Please share so that other people know that other people are going through the same thing. And so that's one thing I found in my process and in my life, that as I'm going through changes and as other people are as well, if I learn that other people are going through the same thing, it's very empowering. Because it connects us, the collectivity, the intention that we are all going through similar things together. So stay tuned till the end, or when this is over and recorded, you can skip back, because I'm going to be doing a clearing to just help clear out any cobwebs, any stress, any tension that may have come up over the eclipse time period. I just want you all to know that you are loved, that you are supported. If you have any questions at all about your sidereal true to the stars astrology chart, or you would like some support with energy clearing because stuff got triggered, deep stuff, and you're wondering how to get through it, or you're having physical body symptoms or pain, please reach out, because the energy work I do is powerful. I helped 2 people with toothaches after the eclipse. That was very interesting. I know that I had a little bit of a toothache, and then I had 2 clients who had toothaches the following day that I did energy clearing with. If I helped you and you're still feeling great, please leave a comment below, because I want people to know that energy is real and that energy can affect our level of pain. And so I have actually utilized the energy work I use with my mom. And this is where I learned how effective it was, because she was having severe pain in her abdomen, and she doesn't believe in doctors, right? She will not go to the hospital. I think the only time she went was like out of dire need at one point, but she won't go. So I was like, how do I help her? Because she's just going to be suffering. So I learned this energy clearing technique. And I said, Mom, you want me to try it with you? And she said, yes, please, anything. Because she was literally like hiccuping and in agony, holding her side. She couldn't breathe properly. And so I utilized the energy clearing that I use with my clients to tune into the body and see, is there trapped energy? What type of energy is it? Is it trapped emotion? Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it sadness? Is it grief? And what's amazing is that this type of energy, negative energy, can literally cause obstructions in the body and cause pain. So this is a long preamble, but I just want you to know that if you are going through something and you're stuck, you're confused, you have anger or fear or anxiety, and you just don't know quite why or what's happening, it's very common for eclipses to bring that stuff up, especially the deep stuff that you can't quite put your finger on. And it's also highly likely that you may see people from your past. I just talked to someone today who had saw a past lover randomly out of nowhere. And that is what can be happening, because the eclipse was in Libra, the sign of partnership and of balance. So it's very probable that past relationships could be coming up on some level, either romantic or business. It really depends on where the eclipse, what sign that eclipse falls in your astrology chart. And that's why I love to do readings, because I can help to clarify what is going on, what area of your life is being activated, from your career to your relationships to your finances. How are these celestial bodies, right? If the moon affects us so much, if it creates the very tides, how are these other planetary bodies physiologically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually affecting us? And so I love to facilitate guiding you to know more about yourself, because the answers are always within you. But how can I support you into learning and guiding you to feel and receive those answers for yourself? So welcome. Yeah, it feels like there was a major activation over Sunday, kind of like a buildup the week or so before, and then a peak on Sunday, like a super peak. And we all watched that moon go through its eclipse process. And you may have had past pain, past memories. You might not have felt anything. You might have just pushed right through it. Now, I have several friends who are powerhouses, and they'll just push right through. What can happen a couple days later, a week later, is that you get sick, or you just have to lay down and rest because you didn't pause to take the slow time. Because sometimes eclipses are saying, please slow down. And it's so challenging to slow down. I know I have a really hard time doing that myself. Sometimes these big, galactic bodies are in action. It's usually asking us to slow down and smell the roses, rest, recuperate, just breathe, just be with yourself, just be simple, just be loving. So I just wanted to share a couple testimonials. My dear friend, April Redbird, she's such an amazing friend, so supportive, so loving. And she has really supported my work as a energy healer and an astrology reader. And I just loved what she said about her reading with me, that she was absolutely buzzing afterwards. And that is my biggest goal, ideal, is that if you work with me, you will feel absolutely like you're buzzing, because everything will line up. It's amazing. Tyrette, so awesome. She's in Finland. I love working with clients from all over the world. And I love that these videos I create are now going on YouTube. And I had my first client contact me from Australia the other day, who'd seen my video, and we did a session, and it was awesome. So shout out to you, Vanessa. It was so awesome to work with you. You're amazing. I'm so excited to see what's coming for you. And Pyrette says that not only does the system astrologically that I use, that's based on where the stars actually are, not only is that amazing, but when I do the energy work that I do, I not only do past life healing, I do ancestral clearing, right? So how many of us, myself included, have had ancestors who have gone through trauma? And what science is telling us now is that when our ancestor goes through trauma, like let's say they witness something horrible, they have fear, they have anger, they have grief, they have sadness, that trauma literally goes into the body and affects and changes the DNA, so that their future offspring will now carry that shift in the DNA from their experience. And so I think it's important and essential for almost all of us to do some type of ancestral clearing, because our ancestors all went through stuff. And so sometimes an ancestral trauma can literally be the energy that is holding us back. Maybe it's grief or sadness or fear or anxiety, but sometimes that can get passed down in the DNA, and then we will feel it in our body, almost like it's our feeling. But the truth is, so much of what we feel is not even ours. I am certified in Access Consciousness. Some of you may know about what that is. And in that system, they say that 90% of our feelings and thoughts and emotions are literally not even ours. Okay. So a really great technique, if you feel some intensity, like maybe you go out into the world and you're around someone whose energy is not as fresh or as good as you would like, and then you don't feel good. right? You feel more tired, you feel anxious, you feel fearful, whatever that may be. This is a powerful technique to use. Or if you have pain, you can just tune into the sensation and you can say, who does this belong to? Okay. And then if you say that and it gets lighter, that means that it wasn't even your energy. You absorbed that from someone else. Okay. And so then if it gets lighter, you can say, return to sender, consciousness attached. Whew, right? And then you'll feel even better. So if you do try that, let me know how it works for you because it's worked for me a ton. Okay. Oh, I love this picture. So this is a picture of one of my classes with April and Blake and Heidi. And oh my God, it was such a beautiful class. Everyone was laughing and having such a good time connecting. We did some amazing energy work. And I'm just so grateful to the four of you. You've been such supportive friends. If you're ever interested in joining me for a class where we can all hang out, definitely message me. And I am gearing up to teach a master class in the next several weeks. So I will also leave notification for that. But if you're interested in joining me, let me know. All right. So I have something to share with you. And you may have heard this a million times already if you know me and you've been working with me, but I am on a mission. So I grew up learning from my mom a type of astrology based on where the stars actually are. And what you see in front of you is a comparison between the type of astrology I do, also known as sidereal or true to the stars astrology, and the Western tropical astrology zodiac. And this is comparing what sign they say where. So in Western astrology, they say that March 21st is the very first day of Aries. Why am I sharing all this with you? It's important and it's powerful. And I think it's really going to blow your mind. So are you ready to have your mind blown? It just totally blows my mind that this is happening. So Western astrology, right? We see it in the magazines, we see it in the newspapers, but here's the truth about Western astrology. Western astrology says that on March 21st, the zodiac sign will be Aries. However, if you were to look through a telescope or get an app that allows you to look up at the constellations on that day, do you know what sign you would actually see? What's actually in the sky, real to the sky? It would still be Pisces. Well, Lotus, what do you mean? Why would that be? Well, here's the thing. Western astrology was accurate at the time it was created. So March 21st, at that moment in time, the ancients looked up at the sky and there was Aries, the constellation. What happened? Well, Western astrology didn't factor in the precession. And the precession, you can look this up if you want, is when the constellations are moving slightly backward because of the rotation in the earth. And this slight degree backward is about 1 degree every 72 years. 1 degree. So not that big of a deal, right? Well, after 2,000 years, that 1 degree has turned into 24 degrees. So that means Western astrology is off by a whole 24 degrees of what sign is actually in the sky if we were to look at that. Wow, that's jaw-dropping. Seriously, yes. Okay, so I wanted to show you that a little more clearly. So I found a Western astrology chart, okay, and I want to do some comparison with y'all. So in the Western system of astrology, the sun, the soul, would be in the very last degrees of Taurus right now. In fact, in Western astrology, the sun will be going into Taurus on May 21st. Okay. So then I took a picture with my star app called Star Walk 2. You can go, I invite you to go get Star Walk 2, put it on your phone, and look up at the constellation. So here's the sun, right? And here's the constellation of Taurus. So right over here is Aries, and Aries is the sign that comes before Taurus. And then here's Taurus. So in sidereal astrology, which is true to what is there right now, when they say, Western astrology says the sun goes into Gemini, if we were to look up at the astral sky, we'll see that it's only about a week or two into Taurus. And so here's the constellation of Taurus. And this is what is actually there. When they say Gemini, it'll actually be Taurus. And now this doesn't line up exactly, right? So there are some areas where Western astrology and the sidereal zodiac do line up, like right here, like at the very beginning of Aries and the very end of Aries, right? That is the same. Or over here with the very end of Taurus being the very beginning of Taurus. And this continues where, well, what they say is Cancer is entirely Gemini. Very interesting. But there is some periods here where we have Cancer in the sidereal system and Cancer in the Western system. So it's not entirely completely different, but there are some periods of overlap. But if you've known yourself, your sun sign in Western astrology to be a certain thing, I have to warn you, this system will change your astrological sun sign. So if that's like, whoa, and you'd like to know more, please contact me. I'm happy to give you a free 15-minute True to the Stars sidereal astrology reading so I can show you what your new sun sign would be, your new moon sign, and really like give you some support for, is that feel right to you? Is that accurate for you? And I've been utilizing this system full time. It's my business for the last, oh my gosh, the last 5 months. And my accuracy rating has gone up 100%. So if you're curious and you want more clarity on your life purpose, your life direction, who you are, right? What are you here for? Please reach out. I am just so excited to share this information because it has changed my life. Having a greater lens to understand myself gives me so much more power to make choices in my life that are happy. It also increases my ability to make money because when we're aligned with who we are, we immediately attract more enthusiasm. We magnetize more interesting situations and people, and everything lines up. So if you have questions, please reach out. So someone asked me recently, well, does the difference between Western and sidereal only affect the sun? No, it affects every single planet. So for instance, they say the moon is in Sagittarius. So I'm not sure. They have like two things going on there. But here is Luna, the moon. And they say that it's in the very end of Sagittarius right now. So this would be the beginning of Sagittarius. And this would be the last half. So according to my calculations, and I'll show you the picture, the moon actually just entered Sagittarius today. Okay, so it's interesting today because a lot of planets are in the same sign, like the sun and the moon, as Western astrology. There's just like a 20-degree gap between them. So where Western astrology says the sun is going towards Gemini, in sidereal True to the Stars, the sun is just entering Taurus. Okay, and for the moon, they're saying it's near the end of Sagittarius. Well, the moon is actually in the very beginning. So why is that important? Well, it's important if we want to discuss the last couple of days and any of the side effects of that eclipse, right? Because many people have argued with me about it wasn't in Libra, etc. But Monday and Tuesday, the moon did go into Scorpio, and it did go into the 13th sign, which is something I'm going to talk more about in another video, and maybe in this one as well. So that could explain why the last couple days, May 16th and 17th, were very intense. And today is literally like whew, a refresh day because the moon moved into Sagittarius, which is the power of fire, transformation, freedom, excitement, new adventures. So yeah, you might be feeling pretty good out there, and I want to hear all about it. So I wanted to just compare a little bit more the difference between Western astrology and the system I use, the True to the Stars system. So I just showed you pictorially that in their system, the sun, you can see 27 degrees out of 30, is at the end of Taurus today. But if we come over here to the True to the Stars map, the sun is actually at 5 degrees of Taurus. So what is that? That's like 22 degrees different, okay? Then we have the moon. In Western astrology, they say that the moon is 6 degrees of Capricorn today. Well, it's a totally different sign. So where they're saying it's all about structure and earth and grounding, the moon today is actually in 8 degrees of Sagittarius. And so I would say instead that the energies are going to be more dynamic. They're going to be more fun. They're going to be more exciting. You might feel impatient, like you just want to get out and run free, because Sagittarius is all about freedom, right? It's a fire sign. It's all about, the symbol is the archer or the centaur, launching those arrows of inspiration towards the heavens to really go towards what you love, what you're inspired by, what you're excited by, okay? So there we go. We've got the sun and moon, totally different signs. 8 degrees in True to the Stars astrology of Sagittarius versus 6 degrees of Capricorn in the Western system. Very, very different. Then if we come to Mercury, right? And Mercury is retrograde, which I talked about in my previous videos. And most of you have heard Mercury retrograde. So what is that? It's when Mercury, appears to be moving backward. But in reality, it's just the appearance. And during this time, I say it's all about the reset, renew, rejuvenate, reassess, tune into your past projects, redo them. It can also mean things from the past come up to be resolved. So pretty much any RE word is going to relate to Mercury retrograde, okay? But there's a big difference between Western and True to the Stars astrology. Western astrology says, Mercury is in Gemini, which is all about communication, and it's an air sign. Whereas True to the Stars astrology is saying, no, Mercury is in Taurus still. It's 9 degrees of Taurus. So that has to do more with our finances. It's an earth sign. It's more grounded. It's more stable. And excitingly, we're headed towards a conjunction between the sun and Mercury retrograde on Saturday, the 21st of May. So I'm very curious to see. That sounds like that day could be powerful in activation. And so please tell me what your experiences are. I love hearing about them. So the other thing I'm going to talk about in this video is how post eclipse, we've got 5 planets in Pisces, which is all about water and emotion and intuition. And I think it might cause us to feel a little more dreamy this time of year. 5 planets in Pisces. Pisces is the 2 fishes. They're in the water. They're swimming, they're floating. That's why I included this water in the background, because there's probably a real deep call to kind of surrender and let go into water and to just be held and just release right now, especially with all that eclipse energy sort of percolating in the background. So whereas True to the Stars says 5 planets in Pisces, Western astrology says Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and so Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in Aries. So they're saying it's fiery right now. Okay. I would say the fire is happening in the moon being in Sagittarius, because the moon in Sagittarius is all about action. It's a fire sign. And then the other thing that's going on in fire is that we have Pluto retrograde, and Pluto is about transformation. And retrograde means the past. Okay, so Pluto is the deepest planet. Scorpio, right? We've all heard of Scorpio, magnetism and depth and sexuality and death and life and birth, and it's so intense. That's Pluto. So Pluto is in retrograde in a fire sign. So that could be a lot of fire. It could be a lot of fire around our visions for our life, our visions for travel, our visions for our higher learning and our education. That's what Sagittarius is about. Pluto is depth, transformation, the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? So the Pluto retrograde is very powerful. What in our past related to death, sex, travel, rebirth, the deep questions are coming up to the surface to be transformed. So that's part of what's going on. So I wanted to invite you all, as we move through this call today, to tune into your heart, to just tune into that love that is your true nature. Whatever got brought up on Sunday or is still percolating around in your consciousness, right? Because sometimes things can get brought up and we can't even consciously tune into what it is. It's just there. We can sort of sense it, can sort of feel it, we can sort of perceive it, and yet we don't always know what it is. So many of you have heard before the power of the heart. The heart is so powerful. It is so powerful that it literally exudes a force field that extends much larger than our physical body. And in fact, depending on how much focus we put onto our hearts and we tune into the power of love, that power itself can expand, expand, and expand, and expand. And some say connect to the whole earth, connect to all of existence just from the seed of our heart. Yeah. So I just want to invite you to, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're driving, stay focused on the road. But if you have a moment to just sit down and get into your heart, let's go there today. Let's sit into the seat of our hearts. That's where the true healing happens. That's what heals everything. I'm so lucky and grateful to help facilitate it. So wherever you are, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. And we're going to continue on with our journey through what's happening astrologically. But stay in your heart. So I'm going backwards a little bit here. This is the chart from the full moon eclipse. And I just want to reiterate, the full moon eclipse always conjuncts the south node. And what is the south node? The south node is the past, right? And it's in Libra. The eclipse was in Libra. And so the south node in Libra, the south node in Libra relates to our past relationships, right? Past karma. Do you have any past relationships that are still around in your consciousness? I was like so blown away by hearing from one of my friends that she'd seen one of her ex-partners today or the other day. And I was like thinking how perfectly that lines up with the south node, because the south node is the past. Mercury is in retrograde, which is also the past. The lunar eclipse was all conjunct the south node, and it was opposite the Mercury retrograde. So it's all things of the past came up on Sunday and are maybe still around a little bit in your aura. And according to the rule of the eclipses, it will be coming up and releasing gradually over the next 6 months. So it's a good time to start getting clear on what got brought up. What was it? Right? So the south node, again, is where we came from, what we already know, the past, the launch pad, the familiar, the comfort zone. The south node is a point between the sun and the moon. And so when we have a lunar eclipse, which is happening between the sun and the moon, that's when the south node is activated. The south and north node are always there. And the south and north node have to relate to what are called our karmic destiny. So the north node I call the North Star. It's the point we're driving towards, we're growing into. It's also a muscle that's going to be weak because we haven't learned it very well yet. Whereas the south node is the area that we're strong, but if we follow it, we get weak. So one side we have to develop. It's a muscle we have to work out. Another side is the muscle that's like too strong and we overuse it and we don't grow. So that's why I love to do north-south node readings. I might offer a link below if you would like to learn what your north and south node are and how that might be relating to your life, because it is truly in your chart the greatest lesson of this life. They call it the karmic destiny point. And by learning mine, it was such a game changer. I had been very hardworking. And I realized from my North Node that my North Node was saying, this lifetime is about you learning how to rest and meditate and tap into your creativity and your sensitivity and acknowledge and value those parts of yourself. And it's a lesson that I'm going to work on this whole life of how to take time off from work and rest and relax and meditate and recuperate. But just learning that that was my core lesson and what house of my chart it is in, which tells me it's about my identity and my partnerships because it's in the 1st and the 7th. It's been so liberating. I feel so much more peace. Like I've been given permission to finally do the things that I secretly wanted to do, but never trusted myself to really do. So here's my question for you, right? The fire of that Pluto retrograde, I'm curious to know, was there anything you let go of or released over the blood moon? Was there anything that got brought up that you're in the process of releasing? Is there any part of you that you would like to release and let go of? And release isn't just letting go. Release is, and this is a picture of the fire I had that night. Release is making room for the new. So I said in the beginning that I was definitely had some deep stuff come up and get triggered on the eclipse. But it was powerful and it was potent, and it actually led me to letting go of old information, old knowledge, old stuff that I've been carrying around with me. I went through my stuff. I felt like I had to go through my stuff, and I just started letting go of all this old energy, just like, I don't need this anymore, right? And it was so powerful, and I feel lighter, and I actually ended up giving myself a hair trim too. And I feel like I let go of so much stuff, and I feel so much lighter and so much freer. So if you're still working through what the eclipse might have brought up for you, and you need support because it can be a lot, please reach out. I'm happy to facilitate you. If you know someone else, reach out, get energy work done, clear your energy field, take a bath, go swimming in the ocean, go roll around in the grass, get negative ions into your system, right? So right now, if there's anything that you would like to let go of or throw into the fire before we continue, our hands are actually connected to all of the meridians of our body, all of our organs, all of our glands, our muscles, our joints, bones, all of it. And if you've worked with me before, you're very familiar with this process. So if you would like to join me, I invite you to put into your hands all of the stuff that's being brought up in this moment. And as I ask you, release, what would you like to release? What would you like to let go of? And just breathe, right? Just breathe, just be with it, just feel it. Whew, yeah, I'm feeling it. Right? When I do these videos, I feel you, I feel me. It's very powerful, very potent, and I'm happy to facilitate this. So I just invite you, what is it? What's around you? What's within you you'd like to let go of? Allow it to come into your hands. Beautiful. And then rub it together. Imagine you're building a fire. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Creator of all that is, just commanding that all this old stuff that you're ready to let go of that's coming up on the core, genetic, and soul levels, be allowed to release and clear. We command it to release and clear, release and clear, release and clear on the core, genetic, and soul level. Deep breath in. Let it go, 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 let it go. Deep breath out. Ah, let it go. Let it go. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Whew, whew, whew. Yeah, yeah. Just enjoy yourself. Let it go. Just imagine all that stuff shaking out of you, right? You don't need it anymore. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Your hands are going to be tingling like crazy. Just allow your body to move a little bit. Squeeze your shoulders. Yawn. And if you yawn during this exercise, let me know how many times. I'm yawning like 10 times. Whew, okay, so, oh my gosh. So as we let go and we release, what do we create? We create transcendence, right? We create beauty. We create an opportunity for love and light and rebirth to occur in our lives. So I'm just going to command a complete unconditional love healing for you, for your life, for all the levels and layers of your body and being through all directions of time and space. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. May you be blessed. May you be filled with love and light. May you be able to transform anything that no longer serves you. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Beautiful. Letting go. Fantastic. Fantastic. So here we go. Just some more information. You know, we've got Taurus, 4 degrees of sun in Taurus. Taurus is all an earth sign, all about grounding. It's conjunct the North Node, which is our future self, what we're growing into. It's stable, grounded, loves beautiful things. So this is a great time to get a massage, go out in nature, plant in your garden, nourish your senses, give to yourself beautiful clothing that feels good. It's all about the senses, right? Touch, smells, beautiful fragrances, essential oils, lotions, things of beauty, things to adorn yourself, jewelry, gemstones. It's the material world, and it's also about our self-worth and our value, our inner and our outer value. So it's a great time for really making money, right? Because it's an earth sign. It's all about the material world. And as an aside, I woke up to having way more money in my bank account than I expected. And I just laid there and was like, oh my God, what happened? This is so great. Oh my gosh, I just want to just be so happy, thankful, and grateful for this moment, right? And so I just send you all money blessings, that you receive unexpected gifts and blessings for money to appear in your life. If you would like support clearing any blocks you may have to money or material resources or your self-esteem or your self-worth, please reach out. I'm happy to facilitate you. And I just wanted to share these beautiful things about Taurus. So Taurus is tenacious, persistent, artistic, practical, resourceful. And here is the sun in Taurus, right? The bull moving towards a conjunction with Mercury on Saturday. And this is the imagery I see when I think of Taurus, right? It's the lush, fertile river valley. It's beautiful flowers. It's the comfort of life. It's the stability of a happy life, safety, comfort. Taurus is grounded. It's sturdy. It's reliable. It's safe. On the negative side, it can be stubborn, can be bullheaded. It can be difficult to sway a Taurus once they've made up their mind, right? They're very set in their ways. It's a fixed sign, but they're so loving and they're so supportive and they're so nourishing. They love good food. You know, go to a Taurus's house for dinner. They will wine you and dine you and give you a comfortable bed. It is all about that, the joy of the material world, having all the things we need, the beautiful home, the beautiful clothing, you know, the happy family, the happy work life where you're receiving the income that you feel good about because your self-worth is high, your inner worth is high, and so your outer worth is also high. Hallelujah. Right? And this, of course, Taurus symbolized by the bull. They used to signal the original spring equinox during the time of Taurus, which is very interesting to me. And so it has been often associated with the blessing of agriculture and marked as the time to plow and plant vital crops for cultures like Samaria, Greece, Rome, even New Mexico. And it represents the mythological white bull. So That sun is approaching Mercury. We're going to have a Mercury conjunct sun on Saturday. Mercury is retrograde in Taurus. Taurus sun, Taurus Mercury. It's all about grounding. It's all about building the structure, the framework, dealing with things, resolving things from our past, maybe related to money or finances. Of course, this is all going to change depending on, so everyone has a very unique astrological chart that is different. And so each person's chart will have a different place. You see here with Aries and Pisces. So this outer ring that has the signs will change depending on the time that you were born and the location. And so that means that in someone else's chart, this could be Taurus right here, or it could be Scorpio. It just depends on your time of birth. So depending on your specific chart, the sun conjunct Mercury aspect that's happening this Saturday will happen in different places for you. So for some people, it's going to affect more your relationships. And it could, again, have to do with things from your past, or it could have to do with career. And if it was in the 10th house of your chart. So if you know a little bit about astrology, you know what I'm talking about. If you would like to know more, please don't hesitate to reach out and book a free 15-minute session with me so I can help guide you to see how are the current astrological alignments affecting you personally. And this is just a friendly reminder during Mercury retrograde to double check your data, right? Because Mercury retrograde is synonymous with technology things being challenged. It is in Taurus, though, which is a very grounded, earthy sign. So it may not be as much affecting your equipment, but it might be more affecting your finances, right? Because Taurus has to do with our finances and the past. So good time to tie up loose ends, complete any old transactions, pay back old bills, all that kind of stuff. I did today. It felt really good. So just briefly, we have 4 planets and 1 asteroid in Pisces. And this just, describes that Pisces is all about intuition, water, emotions, the flow, imagination. It also rules cinema. So it is a really good time for filmmaking, actually, with Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and Neptune all in Pisces. Things to do with love and action related to imagination, related to the ocean, related to spirituality with Neptune there, the compassion, the inner world, meditation, fantasy. And Chiron as well is the wounded healer. So with all those planets conjuncting, Mars conjuncting Venus conjuncting Chiron, essentially, Venus is love and Chiron is the wounded healer. So we could be healing past life, love, trauma. Raise your hand if that's going on in your life for sure. If you need support, if you're dealing with an ex-partner or ex-stuff, please reach out. I'm happy to help to facilitate some transformation there. So Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Chiron, and Neptune, all in Pisces right now. Very emotional, very watery. The sun is in an earth sign. So there could be a little bit of a mud thing going on, which I talked about earlier in April, still going on here. And so what does mud do? Mud slows us down, right? And we got Mercury retrograde, which is another sort of mud feeling. And so it just feels like the universe is saying, as much as you want to achieve things and you want to take action and you want to just charge on forward, what do you still need to complete? What do you need to finish up? How can you get more connected to your soul and your heart? Because the Pisces energy is all about connecting to our soul. So as much as we want to move forwards materially, are we doing it from our heart and our soul? That's what the universe is guiding us towards, always. So here, Chiron, Neptune, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, all in Pisces, right? And Pisces is the mermaid, it's the ocean, it's music, it's art. So it's a great time for maybe read a beautiful novel or watch a beautiful movie or go swimming or write a story or create a movie. This is a great time to create from your imagination, to create from that fantasy world, to get in touch with your inner child that loves to imagine. It loves to play dress up. It loves to go and imagine whole worlds. This is a fantastic time for that. go meditate, right? Go swimming, get in the water. Pisces is a water sign, very intuitive, very imaginative. And these planets are probably going to be in Pisces for quite a few months. So I will definitely do updates with you. Mars went into Pisces on Saturday, and Mars is action. It's how we take action. It's the masculine energy. So Mars is typically a fire sign, and it's in a water sign. So that means our own sense of taking action, depending on where that falls in our astrology chart, could feel a little like slowed down, a little cool, like a little more gentle than normal, a little more sensitive than normal. We might have more sensitivity than normal, more intuition than normal. So just wanting to give you the heads up that with all those planets in water, right? Tune into your intuition more. Listen, breathe, go out into nature, allow all that energy to teach you what it wants to teach you. So I was going to go deep into this, but I think I'm just going to lightly touch on this. So the day after the eclipse, the moon went into Scorpio, and then it went into Ophiuchus. So Monday, Tuesday. Ophiuchus is what is called the 13th sign. How many of you have heard of Ophiuchus? Right. If you've heard me, you've probably heard of Ophiuchus before. So NASA released about 7 years ago that there was actually 13 signs. And if you look back in history, there were actually 13 signs in the ancient mystery schools. So what happened is that when Babylon came into being, they cut off that 13th sign. And now, thousands of years later, Western astrology is still refusing to accept the 13th sign. It feels too difficult. They don't want to, yada, yada. But I'm from the class of people who feels if there's a constellation the sun is moving through during its orbit, I think we should look into it, right? So what is Ophiuchus? And why this is important is if the last 2 days you were feeling kind of like there was a deep, intense energy and you couldn't put your finger on it, it's because the moon was in Ophiuchus. And Ophiuchus is also a wounded healer, teacher, intuitive, teacher, guardian of sacred and ancient knowledge. And so Ophiuchus energy typically connects to a trauma we have of having been persecuted for being a teacher or a speaker or a healer. And I just wanted to share briefly, this is the image for Ophiuchus, the dates for Ophiuchus. If you're curious, if you are one of those people out there who's born during November 29th through December 17th, please reach out to me. I would love to tell you more about Ophiuchus and how it may be affecting you to have been born during a zodiac sign that the world is not fully recognizing. There might be some deep issues or challenges within you around this about not being recognized for your gifts, not feeling free to share your truth, all that kind of stuff. So Ophiuchus is also known as the snake tamer and is the 13th sign, which I think is so cool. And so Ophiuchus is related to a Greek myth and a person. And the person's name is Asclepius. And Asclepius was a half mortal. He was the son of the god Apollo. If you know anything about the Greek myths, Apollo was the god of the sun. And interestingly, his mom's name was Coronis. She sadly was married to another and got punished and killed. And so before she died, Apollo took the child, which was Asclepius, and gave him to Chiron, who's also known as the wounded healer in astrology, to raise him. And so Asclepius, and this is a picture of Apollo with Coronis, Apollo gave him to Chiron. And Chiron helped to teach Asclepius how to overcome snakes, right? Snakes are seen as, either the protector of wisdom and eternal life or an agent of death. It has the ability to shed its skin, but it also can kill, right? So Ophiuchus is very deep energy. You don't mess around with Ophiuchus energy. Um, and some say that it was a snake that taught Asclepius how to raise a man from the dead with certain herbs. And so the serpent, it represents the ancient pharmaceutical elixirs that can cure illness. That's why that is why the Hippocratic oath has the two snakes entwined. And it is said that Asclepius is so pivotal to medicine that the original Hippocratic oath begins, I swear by Apollo the physician and Asclepius, and then Hygeia and Panatia, who were Asclepius's daughters, that I will fulfill according to my abilities and judgment this oath, right? So very powerful that Asclepius was even included in the Hippocratic oath, yet why are astrologers refusing to recognize Ophiuchus as a constellation? Now, if you get Star Walk 2, you can see that Ophiuchus, let's see if I have it. I don't have the picture, but Ophiuchus is actually there in the sky. So anyways, it's up to you what you want to do. But if you have more questions about Ophiuchus, definitely reach out. Many of you have heard about Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who was her, Asclepius was her nephew. And many of you have heard about her killing the Medusa with the snake's head. And she came to Asclepius with gifts and Gorgon blood. And she said, the blood in my left hand will kill, and the blood in my right will heal. And this really speaks to the power of Ophiuchus and the depth of the true power of a healer, really, who knows much about surgery or knows much about herbs, is there is a power to either kill or to heal. And so I think it all boils down to our own judgment as we go through life and we enter in positions of authority, of how we utilize our power and our responsibility. So I think Ophiuchus does point to us and our own set of responsibility to our lives and to those we serve. And Ophiuchus really reminds me of many teachings from ancient mystery schools, and there's a lot to unpack around Ophiuchus. But it all depends, again, on what sign you have, where Ophiuchus falls in your chart, right? So in an astrology chart, there are 12 houses, and each house relates to a different area of your life, from the self to business, to deep intensity, to career, to community, to creativity, to networking and marketing and work and business. So, or money. So if you have any questions about what's happening in that area of my life, why can't I make this happen in this area? Please reach out. I'm happy to give you some guidance from the stars. So that was deep. That was intense, right? We got the eclipse that rolled into Scorpio and then to Ophiuchus. And now the moon, after the eclipse in Libra, has made its way, because the moon changes sign a lot every 2 days, every 1.5 days or so. So the moon today is in Sagittarius. Holy cow, finally. All about breaking free, liberation, right? So are you feeling a little more adventurous today? Are you feeling a little more lighthearted? And again, just a reminder, Western astrology says that the moon is in Capricorn today. But I just wanted to show you that I took out my Star Walk 2 app and I took a picture of this is from about an hour ago. And here we have the moon smack dab in Sagittarius. It's not even the end of Sagittarius, because here's Scorpio. It's like the very beginning. So moon in Sagittarius, you all about freedom. It's the sign that is connected to absolute freedom. Like if you know a Sagittarius, you know you can't chain them down. It's all about adventure, the need to explore, even emotions. You have a great deal of faith. You tend to express yourself in a big and a bold way. You can be warm and sincere, but sometimes you can be a little fanatical, passionate, optimistic, instinctual, opinionated though, nurtures through laughter. And here's some beautiful symbols. Here's the archer shooting towards that highest destination. So it's a good day to get in touch with what are your higher aspirations? What are you shooting for in your life? What is your biggest vision, right? The moon is all about emotion, nourishment, and nurturing. So, in what ways can you nourish and nurture your love of adventure? It's also connected to travel. So, maybe you feel a little bit of wanderlust. You want to move forwards. You want to take action. Again, it's that foreign travel. Sagittarius is connected to foreign travel. So maybe you're having visions and fantasies of going traveling, going to see some new vistas, going to shoot higher, right? And so the moon is going to stay in Sagittarius until probably Friday evening till Saturday. And Saturday, the moon will move into Capricorn. Saturday seems like it's going to be a very potent day. We've got the moon moving into Capricorn, which is all about success, mastery, discipline, structure, serious, right? It's the serious action steps that we take to actually make success out of our dreams and visions. And we have Sun conjuncting Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde. So that can be very interesting, shining a lot of light on maybe past communication, past experiences. But the truth is, that we're all looking for blessings, and I send you all beautiful blessings from the full moon, from the next full moon, from all full moons, and exaltation of remembering the truest state that we're ever reaching towards is the love that's in our hearts. And before we leave, I have time just to do one more quick clearing. So if you would like to, just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. And just feel into your body. Is there anything that you would like to release? Yeah? Is there anything you'd like to let go of? Yeah? So as you can see from this chart, it all relates to different areas of our body. So if you have any pain, any stress, any tension, any overwhelm, anything at all, just take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then just rub your hands together. Ooh, I'm feeling the heat already. Woohoo. So, we're all connected. They say we're all connected at the heart, all of us across the world. So when we tune into our heart, we can literally connect anyone, anything at any time. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And if you want to join me, you can get out your hands and start rubbing them vigorously and putting anything into them you want to let go of, you want to release. Allow it to come out of all the cells and tissues of your body, out of your bones, out of your brain, out of your cells. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Good. And creator of all that is, it is commanded that all the trapped energy, stuck energy, all the schmuck, all the pain, all the sadness, all the grief, whatever is there, all the past energy, all the heaviness, deep breath in, deep breath out. Creator of all that is, it is commanded that all that stuff be allowed to release and clear. Deep breath in, deep breath out, release and clear, release and clear, release and clear on the core, on the genetic, on the soul level. We command it be pulled and resolved on the historical level. Exhale, shake it out, deep breath in, deep breath out, shake it out, woo, shake it out. Get lighter, get lighter, get lighter. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Woohoo. Okay. So now we can rub our hands again. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Creator of all that is pointing at all that trapped energy, all that stuck energy, all that old energy, all that schmuck and stuck and all whatever the bleep. Yeah, all that stuff. Creator of all that is pointing at all that stuff. Be allowed to release and clear. Release and clear, release and clear on the core, on the genetic, on the soul level, pulled and resolved on this historical level. Exhale. Shake it, shake it, shake it, don't break. Shake, shake, then you make a deep breath in. And replaced on all levels with the Creator's truth and definition of pure, unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, peace, calm, happiness, love, whatever you need, whatever you need, whatever you need. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Just imagine yourself being showered, cleansing off your aura. washing yourself off. Deep breath in and up. Deep breath out. Deep breath in and up. Deep breath out. Creator of all that is, it is commanding a complete unconditional love healing for you, for all beings, for whoever ever watches this through all directions of time and space. Deep breath in. Imagining that healing rippling out around the earth, whatever type of earth we live on, rippling out that pure unconditional love through all the levels, through all the layers, through all directions of time and space. Imagining our earth filled up with light, filled up with love, showering everyone off. That waterfall of light that's behind me. That light, those star essences, those flower essences going out to everyone who needs it. And just feeling that water of pure unconditional love and light from the creator of all that is, showering over you, rinsing, washing, then deep breath out. Creator of all that is, it has commanded a complete unconditional love healing for you, for all bodies and beings, all levels and layers, through all directions of time and space, through all directions of time and space for you, for all beings now and always. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show us. May the blessed light of pure unconditional love walk beside you through all the areas and levels of your home, your family, all directions of time and space. Be blessed, be loved, know your worth, know you are worthy. Exhale and release. So grateful for your presence today. And if you would like to schedule a free 15-minute session to learn more about your chart, or to find out what your north and south nodes are, or how this eclipse may have affected you personally, what area of your life, and that will be affecting you for the next 6 months. For me, it's my finances, so praying for lots of renewal there. It can bring healing. It can bring healing, and may healing come to all of you. Sending you so much love in my heart. How does it get better than this? Aloha.